recording, I'm going to introduce Ciro to the group. Ciro Albano has been leading birding tours in Northeast Brazil since 2006. So he's been a bird guide in Northeast Brazil for 15 years. And he's widely recognized as the top field ornithologist in Northeast Brazil. And we just talked about his great accomplishment of finding a new bird to science, a pygmy tyrant at that. Nice. But beyond that, he's held several positions as a scientist and naturalist, first joining the NGO Aquacis. Forgive my Portuguese pronunciation. And he worked on conservation projects protecting the endangered Aripe anakin and gray-breasted parakeet. He's been the co-author of several scientific papers. Beyond being a bird guide and a scientist, he loves bird photography, and some of his photos have showed up in the handbook of the birds of the world, for example. With no further ado, I give you Ciro Albano, who's going to talk about birding in Northeast Brazil. Go, my friend.
Thank you. Well, I want to start to thanks for the invitation. It will be a pleasure to talk about my part of the world. I love this area, so I'll be happy to share a little bit of it with you. And let's go. Okay, can you hear me well? I think yes. If not, let me know. Okay, Brazil. Let's talk about just a little bit about Brazil. Last week we have an update of our Brazil list. We have the Brazilian Ornithological Committee, and the new list, Brazilian list now is 1971 bird species. So yes, we have a high number of birds. We are side by side with Peru and Colombia in the top. And in terms of endemic birds, we have 293 recognized birds endemic to the country. And this high biodiversity is doing we have different biomes. And the big areas like Amazonia, Cerrado, Caatinga, Atlantic Forest, the Pampa in the south, and the Pantanal. Of course, I think most of the people coming the first time to Brazil, or if you hear about Brazil, you think Brazil, Amazonia, Brazil, Atlantic Forest, or Pantanal. And we have this little corner in the Northeast. That's fantastic. That's my area. And just you see the red area is the Northeast Brazil. Okay. And this map right here is the map that shows the vegetation of this area. And this bright green is the Atlantic Forest that's mainly in the coast, but also with some areas that are mainly mountain ranges, far from the coast, and these are usually very special areas. We have Amazonia in Northeast Brazil, in the north, that's Maranhão state, and the Caatinga, that's most of the region, Caatinga, and Cerrado as well. So yeah, we have lots of different type of habitats in this area. Yeah. And of course, lots of important bird areas in Northeast Brazil. If you see, the blue spots are all important IBAs, IBAs or IBAs, we call IBA in Brazil. It's a bird life program. And I'm showing here the ones in Ceará and Bahia. Most of the areas that we're going to visit along this tour are important bird areas or important bird areas for conservation, for biodiversity. I think that's the new name for the IBA program. All right. So this tour, we call the land of rarest birds, or the land of rare birds, or one of the places with the highest number of rare birds, unfortunately some threatened species, and lots of endemics. Along this tour, we can see more or less like 600 species, and in general, we we see 500, a little bit more, a little bit less, usually more than 500 during these 15 days. Of them, 109 are endemics, country endemics, okay? This is about 40% of all the Brazil endemics. So that's a lot of endemics along these routes. And we see usually a little bit more than 90% of them. Some are really rare, but sometimes we see even more, 95, and usually a really good number of endemics got in the tour. Yeah, 109 possible endemics, country endemics. Well, just talking about general things, the tour will take 15 days, all right? One important thing of this tour, be ready for long drives. Brazil is a huge country, as you know, enormous, and you do all the route by car. I like to use, sometimes here or there, if a big group, we use the vans, big vans, but I don't like, personally, I try to avoid always when it's possible. So my recommendation will always be to use these four-wheel drives. This is my own car. It's a Mitsubishi Pajero. It's a very nice, comfortable. And if you have a bigger group, you can go in two vehicles. So that will be me guiding with a friend or another guide. So, or anyway, so but that's really makes a lot of difference, because with these vehicles we can reach sites that we can never go with vans. And as you're talking about for 4,000 kilometers in total, more or less. Well, these cars can do faster and safer, and of course, I enjoy driving. I like driving. It's not a problem for me to do those long drives between the sites, and it's completely used with this situation. Yeah, the tour is relatively slow pace. I mean, there's not many areas with steep trails. It's usually flat, short walks. As we're using these cars, you can reach most of the areas. You don't need to walk for, let's say, 5 hours. Never. Just yeah, this is usually okay. No need so a lot of efforts. Temperatures. It's well 14 to 35 Celsius. So yes, it's nice. It's never so cold, or it can be hot, of course, and dry certain time of the year. Now at the moment I have 30 degrees at home. It's been a hot day, but yeah, it's that's the average. Wi-Fi is available in most of the places. I think all the hotels we're staying, all the accommodations, the reserve we stay, we have a Wi-Fi connection. That's not a problem in Brazil. If you go to the restaurants, they have Wi-Fi everywhere. You find internet connection today in the country. Food in Brazil, we have, oh my God, it's a huge diversity of food. We will be also trying different things along the tour, because we are going to the coast, to the interior, so seafood and the churrascarias that are famous, the barbecues, pizzas. So that will be a high diversity of different foods as well. So, and this is in the photo, it's a popular one that we call self-service. You just grab what you want and just wait. It's a kilo, it's called kilo places. This is very popular and people like a lot, because you have a lot of different stuff to try. Most of the hotels, they are already used with burgers, so they prepare early breakfast. Here or there, when you need to leave too early, or when they don't have the service, I prepare the breakfast. So here or there, you have some picnics in the field, which happens sometimes. The tour will start from Fortaleza, which is my hometown, where I born. Not my hometown at the moment. It was. That's the city where I born. It's a huge area, 3 million people, so it's too big now. That's why I decided to leave and come to live in the small town. But well, before the pandemic, we used to have direct flights from several places in Europe and the United States. Well, hopefully this will be okay soon again. And of course, we recommend you to arrive a day before the tour starts to get used with the everything. In the map, you can see that we are going. The route is from north to south, doing a little bit of zigzag here in the end, but yes, going north to south. And the first stop, Serra de Baturité is the first area we're going to bird. It's 130 kilometers, 2 hours drive from Fortaleza. Okay, this place is really nice. And that's the area where I really start with birding and researching. It's close to my to my Fortaleza where I used to live. And Baturité is a mountain range, okay, and it's very close to the coast. You can see there. And doing this, it retains the humidity from the coast and it's green all over the year. And this place is like an island of high humidity. It's green and wet, and it's surrounded by the caatinga. Caatinga is is a dry vegetation, so it acts like an island for several bird species. It's very interesting. This is a photo of one of the places that we normally stay. This is an old coffee farm that they now they have lots of rooms and lots of space, so they adapt this to receive visitors, including birders. And one of the forests that will be birded is just behind this farm. So yeah, we'll be staying very close to one of the main areas that we're going to bird. Just go walk around and bird, see very good birds from the veranda. And this is the Great Basset Parakeet project headquarters. I'll talk about it a little bit in the next slide. All right. Great Basset Parakeet is for sure the main target from this mountain range, but with that, this bird was almost extinct 20 years ago. I was part of the team who started this conservation project we call Projeto Periquito Cara Suja. It's the Portuguese name for the birds. 20 years ago, it was around 50 birds, no more than this in the wild. So critical endangered species. And then me and some friends, we were very young. We started a project in that NGO called Aquasis, you can see here. And with we did several research in the area, but the nesting boxes was a complete success for this bird. In the population from 2010 to 2020, in 10 years, when the nesting boxes start, they had 1,500 birds born just in the nesting boxes. So it's for 50 birds to more than 1,000. Just so it's the population is okay. They're doing well, but the project is still around. They have big the center there, people, the community is involved. So it's a very nice thing, a very successful story of conservation. There are quite a few. You can see the map here. The main population is concentrated in the Ceará, in this mountain range, the red spot. And last year, a population was found in the northern coast of Bahia. This is completely unexpected, and people are studying what is this. My friends went there. They collect some blood sample to analyze if we are talking about one more new species, or just a crazy population, or a bird that will release from. We don't know. It's bizarre, this population. This was last year. And we will see this bird. Don't worry. I know, I know it very well for 20 years. It's fantastic. And I was talking about this mountain isolated in middle of the Caatinga, this Baturité. And I'll show you, there are quite a few, but I'll show you just one or two cases of this. That's very interesting. Isolated population for the Amazon. Yes, in the past, millions of years ago, Amazon and Atlantic forest, they were together, and they were naturally split by the dry corridor that we call Caatinga and Cerrado. That's a natural thing. And this area, but it shows, yes, it's amazing to have this population isolated, completely isolated of these goats to connect. So apart from the endemics, we also be searching for some subspecies that might be split in the recent future. So I will stay tuned. And another case, this is the bent-tailed manakin. It's a common bird in the west of the country, but it's a completely isolated population only in this mountain range, Serra de Baturité. And that's another case of amazing isolation. And this also happens with birds from the Atlantic forest. This is I can show here the redneck tanager. That's Baturité area, and we have the populations along the coast in the Atlantic forest. The birds in Baturité are already different. You can see the blue and the rump. This is the race. This is already a subspecies from Baturité mountain range. And birds for the south, they don't have the blue and the dark throat. There are differences in vocalization. So yeah, we are also paying attention for future lifers, okay? And that's amazing story, possible new species. This is amazing. That's the amazing things about the tropics. You still finding species, and this is in one case. It's being studied. It will be described as it's a new species for science. It's a completely isolated population in Baturité, and another one further south in Alagoas. Those two are part of this new species. And if you know this bird, there are populations along the Andes in Ecuador, and it's amazing. And another one in the south of Brazil, Bahia and southeast Brazil. But this one is completely different vocalization, completely isolated, depending on mature forest. So yeah, that's part of what we'll be looking for, including and the fantastic birds that are already described. The endemic Ceará net eater is one of the cases. I love net eaters, both breasted kind. You can see all the birds restricted to this corner, northeast Brazil. There are more and more, but I can't show all of them. I'm sorry, because we have a long presentation. And then after this Baturité, do you want to stop now, or can you hear me, guys?
Yeah. I have to unmute myself. But yeah, let's ask it. Any questions about name that Baturité? Did I pronounce that right?
Baturité, yeah.
Baturité. Yeah. Any questions about that first location there? I'm going to try to do Serra do Baturité. Anyway, my Portuguese is just terrible, but your questions are welcome. Any questions out there at all, folks?
I have a question.
Yeah, great.
I wonder if has there been intensive birding in the state of Piauí, which separates Ceará with Maranhão, the Amazon area? I just wondered if that could help explain the fact that you've got so many isolated species in Baturité. I mean, has there been that much intensive birding in Piauí?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Piauí is a completely different vegetation in comparison with this humid forest in Baturité. Yeah, but there's a lot of research here. You can see Piauí here. Yeah, it's different altitude, different vegetation. So yeah.
But it's really different topography.
This is a long discussion. There are some studies that show the old corridors that used to connect the Atlantic forest and the Amazon. And well, but this would be a long discussion about biogeography. But it's fantastic. Yes, this is a very nice thing that happens. You will see more cases during the presentation about those strange population that remains. And this will also happen with plants, with mammals, with snakes, the isolated things that yeah, but this is nice about this area in the tropics in general, the story of the biogeography. But,
good question. Any other questions out there at all? And I'm gonna maybe somebody texted them in. Leo, do you got the text accessible? I'm on this other device.
Yeah, there's no questions on the text, Charles.
Okay, great. I think we can choose on the next one. Thank you for the question we got. And I usually have tons of questions, but my God, there was a lot of good information there. Ciro, thank you very much.
Okay.
And we'll go on to the next geographical area. Thank you, sir. So
when we finish Baturité, we have a short drive. This is nothing for Brazil. 110 kilometers. This is less than 2 hours. I'm being very conservative here. It's an hour and a half drive, the short drive. To Quixadá, the name of the place is Quixadá. It's maybe hard to pronunciation from Brits, but yeah, the next place is Quixadá. It's not too far. It will be inland, but now we enter with that will be our first step in the Caatinga vegetation. So one very this image shows the Caatinga situation. This is the dry season. When it's dry, it's really dry. So most of the year, 9 months of the year, it will be like this, brown, gray, okay? And 2-3 months is a lot of rain. So the rain concentrated in the short period and it's really green, everything changed. It's amazing, it's very nice. And in Quixadá, especially, we have this beautiful scenario, those huge rocks that we call inselbergs. And the spots here are ear doves flying, huge numbers around some part of the year. This is the hotel that you stay. It's a very nice place. It's far from the town. It's in the middle of easily. It's far from the town. It's a big farm, and you'll be birding in the hotel gardens. Let's say this is the hotel area, and you can see here in the bottom those black spots. And these are one of the main targets of this area. That's the white-browed guan. White-browed guan is it's endemic bird from the Caatinga. It's rare because it was used to be, it's still being sadly hunting a lot. Yeah? In some areas, hunting is still a problem. This is a case. Especially during the dry season, at the end of the day or in the beginning of the day, they come to drink in a reservoir just by the hotel reception. So it's the best place in the world to try for this one. Outside this area is really, really rarely, just by luck, by chance. But here it's almost guaranteed to see the one. Another fantastic bird that you can have a beer watching this bird. It's in front of the restaurant. Pygmy Niger, another fantastic endemic, just look like it's very fantastic camouflage, very similar to a rock, and they will be living on this rock outcrop, these rocky areas. They camouflage very, very well, sitting on the rocks. And they are here all over the year. So during the day, you see this Niger during the day. And we know a couple of roosting sites for Pygmy Niger. And we start with the Caatinga endemics. White-Naped Jay, it's common. Fantastic ochreback woodpecker. This is all in the hotel gardens. Some common birds, but nice, like Teleated finch. And the scarlet-throated tanager. This is a really strange bird because they have huge territories. It's never guaranteed. And we have a good chance to see this bird in Quixadá, because they don't have a small territory. Okay, it's here. No, you hear them calling. Whoop, and Quixadá is the first place to try the scarlet-throated tanager. It's amazing. Amazing bird. Next. Okay, that's it. After Quixadá, we drive 350 kilometers the south of Ceará state, about 4 or 5 hours.
Okay, let's just have a quick break and see if we have any other questions about.
Okay.
Charles,
You're gonna have to pronounce me with the pronunciation again. That
Quixadá.
Quixadá. Man, I'm hoping somebody else is looking at these Portuguese pronunciations. And the tough thing about Portuguese is you think it's like Spanish, but it's nothing like Spanish at all. So you always get it wrong. But Quixadá, nice. So the Pygmy nightjars are easy peasy to get, and ironically, the white-browed guan is easy as long as it's a dry season, right?
Especially during the dry season. When it's not the dry season, we end up seeing them, but it's not so easy.
Oh, I got you.
They keep around, the territory is around. So early in the morning they are active. You can see them flying along the slopes. But the best is the dry season. That's most of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, and truly the entire tour is better during the dry season, right?
Yeah, sure. No,
And it's
yeah.
just because the roads, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we'll talk more about roads later
No,
on, but
but the roads are good. Roads are quite good.
right. But this is a tour where four-wheel drive is a good idea.
Yes, it's the best.
Leo, any text questions at all?
There's somebody else who wanted to ask a question, Charles. There's somebody.
Yeah, shoot. So Leo, you said we had a question from somebody?
No, somebody was coming online to ask a question.
Okay. Anybody got a question?
I wondered what the black dots were in that first photo. I didn't understand.
Ear doves. Ear
Doves. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Huge flocks. Yeah,
Thank you.
They come in huge numbers just after the rainy season, because that's when the grass will be seeding, and the seeds, and they come in thousands after the rainy season. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, welcome.
Great.
I
Thank
I
you
have
for
a
the
question.
Yeah, great, shoot.
When is the rainy season?
When is okay? From January, February, March, April. That's more or less. Usually, let's say the peak it's April to June. That's the when really rains, April to June, April, May, June. So yeah, you can have some rain in the beginning of the year, January, February, but never serious. But from April to June is when it's really raining. That's when I have my break. And I usually do not guide during this period because it's just too wet and it's not easy. So April to June, try to avoid this part of Brazil. All right, 3 months.
Thank you for that question.
Good question. Excellent. Yes.
Any other questions? Leo, any more on text, bud?
Nothing else, Charles.
Great. My friend Ciro, go for it. Potengi.
Potengi, yes. This place is a nice story. You can see that this guy with a yellow shirt, and that's his mother, Yvette and Bob. They are from this area. It's a very small town in the southern of the state. And this guy, he got interested in birds and start sending questions for me and for other friends. Okay, I want to start birding here, and he ended up turning his old abandoned farm in a birding lodge. And again, here's another case like my wife. I was telling you before the presentation. He becomes a famous local guide mainly for Brazilians. And now all the big companies, birding tour, birding companies are going there as well to stay on this lodge. So they have you can see the accommodations right there, and also here they have here, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms. And yeah, this is the veranda, and we are inside the Caatinga, so birds are everywhere, and the place is really nice. They will be, her mother, Yvette, will be cooking for us, fantastic food. And yes, we are inside the birding site. And this is from the veranda, from the balcony, that's what you see. They have feeders, with very nice birds. We have the Campo Trupial, this orange one, Rufous bellied thrush, Sayaka tanager, red-called cardinals, palliated finches coming to this feeder. Sometimes even the scarlet-throated tanager goes to this feeder. Epaulette oriole, that's not being called. That's one variable oriole. That's for the ones who like bird photography. It's a paradise. You can get things like this. This is a red-called cardinal I took there, sitting on the veranda of the lodge. Red-called cardinal, Campo Trupial. So yeah, it's really nice for photos. The feeders. And also, this is the place that we start with the real good Caatinga bird, the Caatinga endemics, let's say the most wanted one. This is the white-browed antpitta. Most of the the antpittas are on the planetary, in the humid forest in the Andes, but we have this one. You see the habitat completely dry. This is the dry season. You can see again the bird is right there. It's a very unusual habitat for an antpitta if you compare to the rest of them. And white-browed pigeon is a good place to see, to look after this endemic. Another fantastic bird, one of my favorite ones in Caatinga, the great xenops. It's another special main targets in the area. Red-shouldered spinetail. You can see that all the birds, they are brown, brown. So just to camouflage with the habitat. That's most of the year. It's this color, and it's the dry areas of the Caatinga. Okay. There are lots of more birds, Caatinga entering, but we need to go faster because it's long again. And the next, any questions about Potengi?
Yeah. Any questions about OTG? All questions are welcome. And Ciro, don't feel rushed. We can always schedule around too if we need to.
Okay.
So you're doing great. Everybody can hear Ciro, okay? Just give a thumbs up. We'll take that as a yes. Any other questions out there, folks?
When is this tour?
Oh, so we
When?
run
Oh.
tour anytime from basically, except for the wet season. And I think if you look at our website, www.pibird.com, we've got 2 dates up for 2022. And the funky thing about Northeast Brazil is our pricing is pretty good at 3 and 6. So we like to have groups at about that size.
Yeah.
So, if you're really interested in it, please email me, charles@pibird.com, and we will find the date that fits you well.
Okay,
But
thank you.
You can look at our website, www.pibird.com. And we're always begging Ciro for more dates. He truly gets pretty booked up. He smiles a little bit because he's been suffering through the pandemic. But now that things are picking up in the next, oh God, let's pray, 3 to 6 months, I think he'll be booked out pretty solid. So if you are interested, email us and we'll get you on the next available trip. And I think we're going to be running groups of 6, 7 for a while. Just because
six is the ideal.
It's so hard to get dates with Ciro, and I'm not kidding at all. There's just so many postponed tours, but we would love to get you on a tour. Please contact us. Any other questions? That was a great one. Great, hearing none more. We'll go on to Chapada do Araripe.
Araripe, yes.
Araripe. Okay.
Yeah, Araripe. That's a famous name in Northeast Brazil because we have the Araripe mannequin. That's okay. After we finish Potengi, we might have a early breakfast, and we drive 80 kilometers. That's an hour and a half, because sometimes we do some stops on the route. And the reason to come here is a really fantastic bird. And I'm using this photo showing all these houses just to show the reality of the area. This is an area where the Araripe mannequin, one of the most amazing birds in the planet, occurs. It was described to science only in 1998. It's a fantastic story. And it occurs along the foothills of the slopes. In some areas, the cities are growing in there. But at least the slopes at the top of this plateau, they are protected. And I'll be talking the next 2 slides about this bird, Araripe mannequin, okay? And this is the bird. And it's, as I told you, it was only described, it was an amazing discovery, completely new bird to science in 1998. It was discovered by a friend of mine called Weber. I also worked in the beginning of this project in 2001. We start to do the first research on the bird. The bird has 2 years, and then after the discovery, and then we start the project. I was there with Weber. I was very young. I was 20 at the time, 21. And for 5 years of my life, I worked in this area in the beginning of this project, doing research and understanding the situation. And I'm very happy because today, Weber, my friend, the guy who described the bird, still living there. He moved to the area, and they create a reserve called Oasis Araripe. That's a big project with the Araripe Manequin. And the population of this bird is around 1,000 birds. And the distribution is incredible. You see now the real distribution. That the thing I will show next is what Weber, the guy who is the coordinator of the research program, sending me. And this is the real distribution of the Araripe Manequin. You can see the blue spots along the slope, okay? These are areas where the Araripe Manequin occurs. And you can see the cities arriving on the slopes here, especially here. That's a big city of Crato. The top of the plateau is okay. It's a national forest protected, but the bird only lives along the foothills of the plateau. Why? Why this? That's because we are along the foothills. We have lot of springs. So the plateau retains the water from the rains, and the water you form several small streams along the foothills of the slope. And this Manequin, he needs water. It's associated with this forest, with wet forest, with the presence of water. The nests are always very close to the streams, to the water. So it's a really, really amazing. And the total distribution, this is a line. If you put in a line, this will be only 60 kilometers. That's it. That's where. So it's a really, really range restricted bird. It's critical endangered species. It will be forever, because if you have a big fire here, bye-bye Manequin. So anyway, but at least the area now, there are 2 or 3 private reserves, and one is managed by this NGO Aquasi that I used to be part of the team. And let's hope that this bird can still around forever, because it's an amazing species. And well, just you can feel the the bird. It loves water. So yes, it's near water. It likes to go to take a shower. So here or there we find the bird having a shower. All right, Araripe Manequin, one of the main targets of this tour for sure. Okay, so after the Araripe Manequin finish, we will have a 5 to 6 hours drive. Any questions about the Araripe Manequin?
Yeah, wow. I have to say that was a fantastic amount of video. Thank you.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's
for just a spectacular bird. It's unbelievable that it wasn't found. It was refound in 1996, 1998.
It was foreseen in December 1996, and it was officially described in 1998. And you can think, okay, this was in the middle of nowhere. No, there's a million people living in the region. There's a university with biologists, and researchers used to be to the area. Big ornithologists like Brett Whitney used to go to the area at the time already. But all of them, they went to the top, to the plateau, the flat area, good forest, protected area, and the bird was at the foothills. So yeah, everything is an amazing story. Yeah, so
and how big is that city that we saw in the video?
The city is 200,000 people living there.
200,000 people were living within 15 minutes of that bird.
Yeah, so
but of course there was no roads that went through the foothills or anything.
Yes, yeah, no, there are. Yeah, but yeah, it's amazing.
But no biologists or bird watchers. I mean, it's a phenomenal story. It's like the bird is drop dead. It's just like a gorgeous bird.
It's amazing.
If any birder saw that bird, they'd fall off their seat. That thing is just unbelievable.
It's amazing.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Any other questions about the Araripe Anakin? Or
yes, please. Yes, please.
Yeah.
Do you ever fail to see the Manakin on your tours?
Never. No. As I told you, I spent 5 years of my life going every month to the area, doing research. So I know all the spots. All the 60 kilometers has been all the spots with my friends. Before being a bird guide, I was working on this project, conservation project of the Araripe Manequin. So no, miss this bird is not a point. Don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Excellent question. Thank you very much. Any other questions out there?
And also another thing, I do not accept to see only the female. You have to see the beautiful male because it's amazing. The female is green like all the others. So we will see the male. It's just a fantastic bird.
Great.
Okay.
Any other questions from the text there, Leo?
Nothing else, Chuck.
Okay, any other questions verbally before we move on to canudos, which is maybe a Portuguese word I'll get right?
Canudos, yes.
Yeah, once in a while.
Canudos is the name of a bee.
nice.
Native, yeah, a wild bee, canudos.
So hearing none onto the area of canudos. Thank you so much for the presentation so far. We look forward to more. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, so now we are saying bye-bye to the state of Ceará, which is my state, and then we are entering Bahia, the next state. And Bahia is a huge state in Brazil, so it's more or less the size of France. Just to you can have an idea of how big is this, and lots of different environments as well. And the first stop, it will be in this area. We're still in the Caatinga, but with a very special situation. We have these red cliffs. It's amazing, beautiful area. And this is the home of one of the most amazing birds, another one, endemic to Bahia, endemic to the Caatinga. Let's go to the next slide. Lear's macaw, all right? And endemic macaw to the Caatinga. And this bird, why you can see the distribution at the top, only in Bahia, only in the small region. And in this video here, you can see that this is a palm. Let me stop here. The palm is called licuri. That's the main food for the Lear's macaw, licuri palm. And it needs, apart from this palm, the palm is also restricted. And it needs the palm together with the cliffs, the red cliffs, where it roosts and breeds. So that combination, the palm and the cliffs, makes the Lear's macaw really restrict. So it's another fantastic case of isolation. And well, I'll tell you that the experience of going to the place that we're going to see Lear's macaw, it's a reserve, now it's protected area where they roost. So we arrive there before sunrise, yes, when it's still dark, and we wait. It's an amazing experience because first you hear the calls, and then they start flying in the dark, and then the light is coming, and the combination of that sunrise with the red and the calls it's an amazing experience. I've been there, I don't know how many times, lots, and I always get every time I go there. So yeah, I'll just let the next slide have a video of more or less what's going to happen. And this is the situation. It's amazing, and it's never the same. Sometimes you arrive here and there will be 200 macaws, sometimes there will be 20, but they will be flying around and calling, and they sit in the cactus, sometimes in a big number like here in this video, and they stay breeding. For photos is nice. You can see this photo was taken in this area. So yeah, it's quite an experience, really good. All right, and we'll be also looking for other birds, Caatinga bird that we maybe still need, sometimes broad-tip hermit. There will be other parrots around, turquoise fronted, but of course the macaw calls brings all the attention will be concentrated in the macaw. So but we will be also spending some time looking for all the birds. But this is a fantastic, unbelievable, unforgettable experience. Okay, and then after this macaw, a long drive, the longest in the tour.
Yeah,
but
so,
any questions about the Lear's macaw, Mr. Charles?
Yeah, any questions about canudos at all, or this macaw? And I gotta say, when I look at the photo preview for Chapada Diamantina, oh my gosh. I mean, there's so many beautiful birds in Northeast Brazil.
Yes, there are.
It's true. I
I
mean,
have to, I have to
the
agree.
Cuban guys always talk about how the beauty of the birds, and especially the birds, but Northeast Brazil has got just some stunning birds. It's unbelievable. Anybody got any good questions out there?
I have a question on such a long drive of 8 hours. Do you obviously make some stops along the way?
We will make some stops. We have lunch, and here or there we'll be stopping for bird watching in the pounds on route. And well, it's 8 hours. You'll be in a van. In my car is about 7. Okay, one less.
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, we'll be having lunch on route and doing some stops here or there, and of course, yeah. But that's the longest drive of the tour, the longest drive. All right.
Okay.
Nothing like this.
Yeah, and you know, on all of our tours, we do try to manage drives to the middle of the hot part of the day, just so you're not missing birding. And we do try to stop for birding just to break up the drives as much as we can.
We do it.
And of course, lunch is always welcome to break up a long drive. But Ciro is not kidding you. This is the worst of it at 5 hours. It is a tour that covers some geography. There's no doubt about that. Any other good questions out there? That was a good one. Thank you very much. Leo, anything on text?
Nothing there, Charles.
Okay. On to Chapada Diamantina.
Okay, Chapada Diamantina, we are exactly in the middle of the Bahia state. Okay, and this is a national park. So, and this is where I live right now. I'm talking from Chapada Diamantina. I'm here at the moment. That's where I'm living from the last 2 years. This is a very famous touristic destination in Brazil. People from all over the world come here, not only for the birds, but also for there are fantastic landscapes, waterfalls. So people come to do hiking along the national park. You can do 8 days walking, camping, and that's not what we're going to do. But this is a famous place for this type of tourism as well, ecotourism. The town of Lençóis, the town of I live, the town of stay, is very nice. It's an old village, small. It's about 10,000 people living here, and they preserve the old architecture from the area. And this is the hotel you're staying. It's a very nice place with a huge garden with hummingbird feeders and some feeders for other birds as well, fruits. And it's very nice. And just to show you and the landscape, this is what most of the normal tourists come for, the waterfalls and huge, fantastic, beautiful scenarios. But apart from that, this place is amazing in terms of diversity. So only in the national park, only in these surrounding areas, we have these rocky outcrops at the top, cerrado vegetation, caatinga vegetation, Atlantic forest, all very close. And this means that we have a high diversity of birds. The list here is it's around 400 bird species only in this area. Okay, and one of the best of all, the hooded visorbier. That's one of my favorite birds for sure. One of the most amazing hummingbirds in Brazil. And you can see here the distribution just along the mountain range, a little bit for the north outside Diamantina, but all along this mountain range that's huge. This area. This is the video for the hummingbirds. You can see how amazing it is. It deserves a special attention because it's really nice species. I know several territories for this bird. I think I told you before. I'm half an hour from the closest territory, so probably I'm going there tomorrow just to relax. I keep coming back because it's so nice, so nice bird, so nice place. Yeah, my neighbor here. More endemics. This is a very, very restricted range. When you can see that's only here in the mountain, in this mountain, Diamantina tapaculo. These birds were described to science only in 2007, not long ago. And Sincora entren, again, if you look at the map, it's only here, only in Chapada Diamantina. This bird you see together with the hooded visor deer. The other one, the tapaculo, you need to go to a different area, but it's around, not so far. Apart from these birds, those three are from this outcrops area. We have some rare things from the Caatinga and dry forest. So Francisco Sparrow, it's not an easy one. It's a rare bird, but it will be around. One of the days we will going to bird in the Caatinga, in the dry area. And this is one of the main targets, San Francisco Sparrow. This was described at the end of the 90s. You see again, just a small distribution in Bahia and Minas Gerais state. As we've seen Araripe monitor 2 days before, or 3 days before, it would be very nice to see the sister species, the helmeted mannequin. So in this interval of 3 days, you can see there are only 2 Antilophias. That's the genus of these mannequins. The mannequin is the long tail and the crest, Antilophias. This one, helmet and Araripe. So we will clean up the Antilophias of the planet. It is amazing, it's beautiful. This one is very close here. It's 10 minutes from where I am right now. And this is my garden, yeah. During the heat of the day, you can come to my house, yes. You'll be serving some coffee for you, okay? And yeah, this was 2 days ago. I was preparing the presentation, and all those cardinals, we have 30 maybe feeding, and I have quite good birds here. Like this one is fantastic. The East Brazilian chachalaca. It was here this morning. White-necked jays are always around. Even strange things on feeders like cachalote is a funarid. So Caatinga cachalote comes to eat the seeds of the sunflower. And there are more. Campo Trupia, we have some hummingbird feeders. So during the heat of the day, we have a visit to my house, okay? We have a coffee and see some birds around. You'll be welcome. After that, okay, this is a special time of the year. We call Hummingbird Show. This is mainly January and February. It doesn't mean that, well, let's show first, and then I can talk about it later. But this January and February, we have this red flower. It's in the genus Caliandra. It's also an endemic flower, and it blooms in this period, January and February. It's amazing. It's amazing because it attracts lots of fantastic birds, hummingbirds. During this season, you have, well, hornet sunjay, which is another fantastic hummingbird, together with the hooded visor deer, and a lot more. This was all last February. So I was here, I was not working, so I had time to go there and took all these photos. I just show you here a few of them. There are more species that goes there. So amethyst wood star, this is a very special one, brown violet ear, population isolated here in Brazil, white vented violet ear. The ruby topaz is another fantastic bird. It's a migratory, and it's here during September to February. And well, white-necked Jacobin, this was mainly Amazonia, but sometimes a lost bird appears, and it was the first record for this region, for Chapada Diamantina. This white-necked Jacobin, fantastic. I was very surprised. And this is it's an amazing experience. One more in the Northeast Brazil tour. But what I want to say, okay, you need to go in January and February to see all those birds. No, you find them all over the year, but the concentration on these flowers is on those 2 months, all right? But we will find, of course, the visor beard, the sunjay, and all of them in the territories, different areas. But this is just a special moment that this thing happens. All right. Any questions about Chapada Diamantina? there will be lots of more habitats and birds. I didn't show birds from Cerrado, like the rufous sided pygmy tire. There was lots of endemics here, so I could talk about an hour only about Chapada Diamantina because I love this place. It's not in vain that I came to live here. But anyway, any questions about Chapada Diamantina?
Yeah, I certainly have a good question, but I want to see if anybody in the audience has any other questions. Any other questions out there, folks?
Can I just ask what the tour is like generally for hummingbirds?
It's very good. You see lots of hummingbirds for sure. If you come
About how many
between,
species?
sorry,
About how many hummingbird species?
how many numbers? In numbers, I can't remember the number.
No, I know. I'm a quantifier. 30 to 40 or 40 plus.
I think around 30 for sure,
Yeah.
or more. Yeah.
Maybe
And
30.
do
35,
many
yeah.
do many places that you stay at have hummingbird feeders?
Not so many, but we have three or four places with very good hummingbird feeders. The next one, Boa Nova, I will show later in the next slides. They have fantastic hummingbird feeders. Okay, and also I know several territories for the special ones like the Weisselbier, for example, and the Holland Sungem. So yeah, even without feeders, we will find them in good opportunities for photo as well.
You know what? I'm going to keep us on the hummingbird controversy for just a little while. As I told Ciro in the pre-show, I'm just a big hummingbird fan.
Yeah,
Happens to be one of my favorite families of birds, and I went crazy about this hooded visor bearer, which
yes,
as hummingbirds go, it's pretty fantastic. But even though the big hummingbird show is best in January, February, you do see those
yes.
birds, those
Yeah.
hummingbird species other times of years.
Yeah.
When those plants bloom, it's
see.
fantastic to see them all hopping around it.
That is just a special moment, but we will see them even if it's not blooming. We'll find
Right, and
more.
then a lot of countries do have lodges, especially Ecuador, for example, where hummingbird feed eaters came into usage around ecotourism. In Brazil, most of the good hummingbird feeder sites are private garden hummingbird feed eater type things, right?
Oops.
Oh, and so the question was, like in Ecuador, there's a lot of lodges that have hummingbird feeders. But in Brazil, I have found, excuse me, I have found that more often than not, it's really private folks who just open up their garden to feed to feed eaters and tourists versus right at the eco lodges, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have lots of hummingbird feeders, especially in the southeast Brazil, but here they are starting in some of those lodges, and yes. In Boa Nova, we have a good place for hummingbird as well. I'll show you in a minute. All right.
Yeah. Hey, and I definitely want to spend another 5 or 10 minutes on the call, folks. I know we're running a little bit long. I swear to God, every time we try to do more than 6 sites, we leak over.
Yeah.
But I do have to do a couple administrative things. We've been super good about not mentioning anybody's name, but if for some reason you think your image or name has been used on the video conference, please shoot us an email at service@pibird.com and we will take it off. Though the little names that appear underneath your photos on the participant list, that image is not on the video conference. But if, again, otherwise you think your name has been used, feel free to email us at service@pibird.com and we will take care of you. And then just a brief advertisement. There is more information about our Northeast Brazil trip at www.pibird.com. And truly, we welcome Northeast Brazil bookings anytime. But he's going to be very well booked the next couple of years. But we do have some dates with Ciro, and we hope to fill them to 6 or 7 people. They're almost all filled now.
I think we have one in February. February is the hummingbird season, so.
And oh, by the way, And we would love to get more people on that February 2022 date. That is. Any other questions before we move on to BOA? And you've got
Nova.
2 more sites, right? Or 1?
More, it's more.
Yeah. We will probably do 1 more site today, and then in the future we'll do a round 2. Because quite frankly, I hate to rush our speakers. And Ciro's content is so excellent. I hate to waste it. So we'll just do any more questions now, and then we'll do 1 more site, and then we'll wrap up. And don't worry.
I have one more question.
Shoot. Yep. Shoot.
Besides the 2 mannequins that you highlighted, would we see any other mannequins?
Oh, lots.
Different types?
Different types.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
I have a slide of mannequins later.
Okay.
I'll show you. Mannequins paradise. We are arriving there.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great question. Any other questions out there? It is a mannequin heavy trip.
Yes, very good mannequins. Very good mannequins.
Any other questions at all? Great. I'll let you wrap up with BOA. Yeah, shoot.
Do you
No more
test
questions.
for COVID before people go out?
Sorry?
We'll talk about COVID procedures at the end of the call. But thank you for that question.
Right.
And Ciro is vaccinated. He gets his 2nd round of Pfizer in the next week, so we're pretty excited about that.
Ooh, finally.
And any other questions out there? And again, we'll handle all the COVID stuff at the end. As we all know, Brazil's had a tough row here, but it's going to be hopefully better here in 3 to 6 months. Let's pray. Anything more? Cool. We'll let you wrap up with BOA Nova. We'll do a bunch of questions at the end, and we'll just do a round 2 in probably 3 to 6 months or something. Okay, shoot with BOA Nova, sir.
BOA Nova. Okay. So after Chapada Diamantina, we will be the day we leave Chapada Diamantina, we'll be birding along the route. So this 6 hours will be, well, most of this, the beginning of the first 100 kilometers will be doing some stop for birding. So you don't feel so bad in the end, okay? So all right, BOA Nova, it's right down. I can show, and here is the place where the Caatinga meets the Atlantic forest in a mountain area, and this makes another fantastic situation. We have a special type of vegetation that we call Mata de Cipó, that will be translated for liana forest. Lots of lianas and these ground bromeliads. This is the typical from this contact zone between the Caatinga that I showed before and the Atlantic forest, okay, the lush Atlantic forest. And this is about 15-minute drive between a site to another. It's unbelievable. In total, BOA Nova, we have how many today? 435 bird species only for BOA Nova, only in BOA Nova. It's amazing. Yeah, it's an incredible area. Another one. And this ground bromeliads make a very special situation for a bird that's endemic to this vegetation. And this is our next main target. That's the slender-ant bird. Okay, this bird is, oh my God, it's 100% associated with this bromelia. The nest is in the bromeliads. It will be feeding on the bromeliads. And this was a very rare, poorly known bird a few years ago. And then it was there was a project, conservation project run by the BirdLife in Brazil, which is SAVI Brazil, the partner of BirdLife, ended up creating a national park. So BOA Nova also was a national park there. And the bird is the symbol of the region. Well, you see the statues, paintings everywhere of the slender-ant bird. And you can see here the distribution is just this contact zone between the Caatinga and the Atlantic forest. It's really, really special. And well, other birds in the same, more or less, type of habitat will be narrow-billed entrant. There will be more. That's another very nice entrant. You can see very, very, the distribution associated with this contact zone as well, a little bit more widespread. And if you go to the Atlantic forest, okay, you can drive 10, 15 minutes from this right to the other side of the mountain, you'll be finding another set of endemic beautiful stuff. That's Bahia spine-tail. This was described to science in the 90s. Striated soft-tail. I love this one. Again, distribution restricted to the Atlantic forest. In Bahia is mainly along the mountain range, close to the coast. And lots of other stuff. It's a total of 450 species here. So I just grabbed some photos and some, well, pintail mannequin. Remember, we're talking about mannequins, asking about mannequins. This is another fantastic mannequin. It will be common in Boa Nova in the next place, Serra Bonita, and Rio Tataneja. There will be lots of good stuff to look after. You spend, I think, 3 nights at Boa Nova because there's a lot of things to do. And including things like giant snipe, one of the best places to try giant snipe. It's a bird that some people really are interested in this guy. And Boa Nova is a good place during the night. That's when the bird will be active, giant. And again, hummingbirds, all right? In Boa Nova, you have a very special place. The Hummingbird Garden is a natural garden, all right? It's a huge area, big area, full of outcrops. You can see the rocks. With this ground cactus, it's another the endemic cactus as well. So especially during this is September to January, more or less. This place will be in the end of the day when these flowers open after 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Hummingbirds come from everywhere, and my God, it's a fantastic show. I had just have a video here. There's a safari spangle emerald. It goes from flower to flower and it's an amazing experience. This place was when they created National Park. Unfortunately, this area was outside the park, and it was being degraded by people cutting the rocks to build roads, and there was also cattle around killing the cactus. And 2 friends of mine, Brazilians, birders, and they are wealthy people. They came to the place with me and they got in love with this place and they bought the place. This is a private owned by these 2 Brazilian guys, and they built a facility for photographers, for birders, and this what we call Lajeira dos Beija-Flores in Portuguese, which is the hummingbird garden. Sorry, wrong one. And they okay, there's some more birds that goes to this area. You can see the situation for photos is just amazing. Ruby topaz is one of the superstars, but Ruby topaz is migratory, so it will be here in October, November, December, January. The other ones still around all over the year, sapphire spangle, but Ruby topaz is kind of, oh my God, beautiful bird. And this I can show this facility, Lajeira dos Beija-Flores. These people are the couple who own the area. They left all the rock intact. This is completely fully preserved, and they built this area outside. This was already degraded, so the hummingbird area is there. But they also have feeders, fruits, and hummingbird feeders around. You can see they have a coffee, they have toilet, beer, whatever. So that's a place that makes things easier. So in this area you have feeders and lots of good stuff. And they plant around. They have planted about 4,000 species, plant species, native, also to attract the hummingbirds to the area. And this is another good site to go. Lajeira dos Beija-Flores. Okay, sorry again, my mistake. Okay, Boa Nova. That's it, more or less.
So as tough as it is, we will work to bid adieu here. We'll wrap up with some final questions, and I'm gonna throw a little French in there. But we will wrap it up here. We will pick up again, and I'm hoping 3 to 6 months we'll have to get on Ciro's schedule again. We'll do a round 2 on Northeast Brazil because my God, there's just so much fantastic birding here. And I do want to take Ciro for his fine preparation. Any other final questions, and then we'll talk a little bit about COVID in Brazil, which is a sort of unhappy story, but I just checked vaccines in Brazil right now are nearing 49.1% people with one dose.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
in about 2 weeks, we should have better news in Brazil, maybe a couple months. But
Yeah,
it's
good.
looking better because vaccines will help, as we like to say in
Yeah.
the United States.
Mhm.
Though Delta makes us all suffer, the unvaccinated. Anyway, so any other questions out there, folks?
How do you get back from the far south to your beginning spot, or do you?
Me?
No. In terms of the trip, she's saying we always started is it Fortaleza,
Yes.
and then at the end the airport we leave from is
Porto Seguro, yes, in the end here. There's an
and
airport
so
here, and there's a local, you can take an internal flight from Porto Seguro to anywhere in Brazil. So São Paulo,
right, and
Rio.
it strikes me, and I think it's true for Northeast Brazil too. We're almost better. Most people get international flights to Sao Paulo, and then they
Yeah.
fly to two airports. So
Yeah.
So you really come in and out of Sao Paulo, and then you take internal flights, Sao Paulo to Fortaleza, and
Yeah.
at the end you take another flight back to Sao Paulo. That's almost always the easiest way in and out, is via Sao Paulo. Did we answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good. You're more than welcome. Thank you for the question. Any other questions out there? And we did, so I think we can stop the recording if you want. And I just want to say, and we'll go to COVID next, but